Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, life has a way of throwing storms our direction. You don't have to be on a boat in the middle of the Sea of Galilee to know what it feels like to be tossed around by the winds of trouble, the waves of uncertainty, and the dark clouds of fear. Some storms you can see coming, and others sneak up on you in the midnight hour. But I came to tell somebody today that the storm is not the end of your story. The storm is the stage for God to show His glory. You see, storms are not just interruptions. They are introductions to a deeper level of trust in the one who can still say, "Peace, be still." So don't you let the thunder scare you. Don't you let the lightning intimidate you. Because the same God who kept you before is the same God who will carry you through. Today, we're going to talk about what it really means to trust God in the midst of the storm. There comes a time in every life where you reach the edge of yourself, where your back is against the wall, where you have cried all the tears you can cry, and you have prayed all the prayers you can pray, and you are left with nothing but a whisper. That whisper is where God does His best work. That whisper is where the breakthrough begins. Breakthrough is not always loud. It doesn't always show up with trumpets and parades. Sometimes it begins in the secret place where nobody sees you, nobody applauds you, and nobody even believes in you. Breakthrough is the place where God takes the pressure that was meant to destroy you and uses it to deliver you. It's the moment where the opposition that rose up against you becomes the very thing that pushes you into your purpose. Breakthrough is when the ceiling becomes the floor, when the pain becomes fuel, and when the tears you cried water the very soil where your miracle is about to spring forth. Breakthrough means that the thing that was blocking you is breaking, the chains that were holding you are snapping, and the wall that stood in front of you is about to crumble. But hear me, breakthrough is not just about what God takes you out of. It's about what He's taking you into. And when you step into that place, you don't just survive, you begin to experience the overflow. Overflow is when God says, "I'm not just going to meet your need, I'm going to exceed it. I'm not just going to fill your cup, I'm going to cause it to run over." Overflow means there's more than enough. Enough peace to silence the storm, enough joy to outlast the sorrow, enough grace to cover every mistake. Overflow is the kind of blessing that spills onto everybody connected to you. It's when your life becomes a river instead of a reservoir, when you stop clutching what you've got and realize that God has more on the way. Overflow is not about hoarding, it's about pouring. It's about being so filled with God's goodness that you can't help but leak it on to everybody in your family, everybody in your circle, everybody who comes near you. Overflow is contagious. It's the evidence that God's hand is not only on you, but working through you. And here's the truth. Breakthrough leads to overflow, but both of them are connected to your destiny. Destiny is bigger than where you work, bigger than where you live, bigger than what you drive. Destiny is the reason you survived what killed somebody else. Destiny is the hand of God guiding you when you didn't even know you were being guided. It's the reason you were spared from accidents, the reason the sickness didn't take you out, the reason the betrayal didn't bury you, Destiny means there's a divine appointment on your life that hell itself cannot cancel. But here's the catch. Destiny is not convenient. Destiny will disrupt your plans, pull you out of your comfort zone, and force you into places where you don't feel qualified. Because destiny doesn't consult your resume, it consults your obedience. Destiny is not about being ready, it's about being willing. And when you step into destiny, you realize that every detour was direction, every delay was protection, and every disappointment was redirection. Destiny is the map God wrote for your life before you even took your first breath. And no storm, no setback, no failure has the power to erase it. But if you're going to walk into your destiny, you cannot do it in your own strength. You need the anointing. The anointing is not charisma. The anointing is not talent. The anointing is not a pretty voice or a smooth speech. The anointing is heaven's oil poured on a broken vessel, enabling you to do what you could never do on your own. The anointing breaks yokes. The anointing makes the difference between a performance and a transformation. When the anointing is present, chains fall off, burdens lift, and hearts open. The anointing is the invisible power of God resting on visible people. It is the touch that turns ordinary into extraordinary. The anointing makes you dangerous to the enemy because it means you are not fighting in your own power, but in God's authority. And when you are anointed, storms may rage, but they cannot sink you. Weapons may form, but they cannot prosper. Critics may talk, but they cannot stop what God has placed on you. The anointing qualifies you when the world disqualifies you. It equips you when you don't feel equipped. And it sustains you when everything around you says, you should have given up a long time ago. Now here is where it all comes together. When you experience breakthrough, when you walk in overflow, when you step into destiny, and when you carry the anointing, you cannot help but enter into a divine shift. A shift is when the atmosphere changes. A shift is when the season turns. A shift is when God says, that was then, but this is now. A shift means you are moving from surviving to thriving, from lack to abundance, from fear to faith. A shift is often uncomfortable because it pulls you away from the familiar. It shakes you loose from routines that no longer serve you. It tears down relationships that were only meant for a season. But a shift is necessary if you're going to reach the next level. A shift means God is aligning you with His plan, setting you on course for what eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and hearts have not imagined. Don't resist the shift. Don't cling to what God is trying to move you away from. Don't mourn over doors that close, because the same God who closed them has already prepared a greater one to open. And when you put it all together, you see the pattern. The storm was never designed to destroy you. The storm was the set-up for your breakthrough. The storm was the pressure that produced your overflow. The storm was the furnace that shaped your destiny. The storm was the place where the anointing became real. And the storm was the trigger for the shift that is taking place in your life. So if you are in the storm right now, don't despair. Don't throw in the towel. Don't let fear dictate your faith. Because even in the middle of the wind and the waves, you are standing on the edge of breakthrough. You are about to step into overflow. Your destiny is still intact. The anointing is still flowing, and a shift is already in motion. So as I close, let me remind you of this: storms are not signs that God has abandoned you. Storms are classrooms where God teaches you to trust Him in ways calm seas never could. The thunder is loud, the waves are high, the night is long, but God is greater than the storm. And when you come out of this, you won't just come out wet and weary. You'll come out stronger, wiser, deeper, and closer to Him than you've ever been before. Every storm has an expiration date, but the faith you build in the storm will carry you for a lifetime. Don't give up, don't give in, and don't let go. If you can trust Him in the middle of the storm, you'll see His hand guide you to the other side. And when you get there, you'll have a testimony that says, I went through the storm, but the storm did not go through me. I faced the storm, but the storm did not finish me. Because the God I serve still speaks peace, still works miracles, and still brings His children through. Trust Him, not just when the sky is clear, but especially when the clouds are dark. Because storms pass, but God remains.